Whoops. There. Hey guys, it's me. Okay, here we go. Let's get started. New chapter. Okay, now guys, I need you to relax. This is not going to be an easy chapter for me to teach without being present, but I think it's the last chapter of the year for y'all. Okay? That's kind of my goal. I don't think we're going to do chapter 13. I think there's chapter 13. I don't think we're going to mess with that. And that's okay. The way the books are designed, they take that into consideration and put the, if you can get to it stuff at the last. This state requires you to know this. Okay? Several aspects of this chapter, the actual state of Texas and pretty much every state, requires you to know this. Okay, so I have to get this in there. Therefore, y'all not going to be behind. There's maybe a couple of things here and there that we've had to skip. Nothing detrimental. Okay, so let's get through this. Oh, and as far as exams, I was told this morning that, and I'm making this, Wednesday night. I was told this morning that you do have to have an exam. Algebra 1, definitely. The other teachers, they may do just a regular chapter test and count it as a regular test, not as 2 tests. You guys, because you're a high school level course, will have to have an exam. Now, it's going to have to count as a semester exam grade. Okay, it has its own slot on the report card. I haven't yet figured out what I'm going to do. Now, I have some flexibility with that. I can tell you right now, I don't see y'all doing an actual semester exam. Okay, y'all can all cheer, relax, and everything else. I'm not seeing it. If I did, it would be so basic. I mean, it would be so basic. Because this is a weird situation. I was kind of hoping I didn't have to give y'all an exam at all and just leave that column blank. And I was told this morning I had to do it. I'm the only teacher for the 5th through 8th grade, and including my 2 9th grades, but the only teacher that actually has to do an exam. So anyway, we'll get back to that later. But I just want to prepare you because some people were asking, and I need to let y'all know you will be doing something. It could be this test. It could be Chapter 12 test. But then again, this is going to count as a semester grade. And if y'all don't do well on this chapter 12, then I don't want that to hurt your grade. So I may have to get kind of creative. Hint, hint. Anyway, I got time to put my thinking cap on. See my thinking cap? And I'll figure something out sooner or later. Don't worry. I try to always be fair to y'all, okay? And I plan on being fair again. So don't stress, okay? All right, let's get started because I don't want to waste your time. And I have some Netflix with my name on it that I'll probably watch about midnight. Because I still have to grade your tests. Oh my gosh, I've been working all day. Okay, we don't need to go on that. Okay, so 12.1, solving quadratic. I'm talking as much as Senora Smith. Shh, don't tell her I said that. Okay, equations. By factoring. Yes, factoring. Okay, y'all did not like factoring. This is back in chapter 10, I think, when y'all have to do factoring. It's not going to be as bad as chapter 10, but there is going to be some factoring. So I know how y'all felt about that chapter, and I hate doing this to you, but it is what it is. All right, steps. Yes. I know. I'm pulling a Senora Smith. All right, 1. Write the equation. These are the steps. Again, you're solving quadratic equations by factoring. Blah, blah, blah. All right, write the equation in standard form. Okay, this is huge. And y'all have learned this before. Standard form. Okay, here's what it looks like. See my little star? Okay. It's going to be in this format. Some of you have parents that are actually watching this with you. So make sure if you're pausing this and taking notes, this right here is your standard form. In every equation, before you do anything, step 1 is to move stuff around like the intruder alert until it's in this format. The A, the B, and the C parents are numbers. Okay, those are numbers. We don't know what they are. When you get your equation, you'll know. But it needs to be in this kind of descending order, with x squared first, then your x, and then this is just a plain old number. Sometimes this is going to be missing, sometimes this is going to be missing, and that's okay. Just know that it needs to be in this order. Equal to 0. That's what's huge here. Everything's got to be on this side of the equal sign. That's what's important. In fact, I'm going to put a little arrow here. Notice the equal sign, the 0. So you may have like blah, blah, blah equals 2. Well, you got to move that 2 over on this side because it's got to be all set to equal 0. Does that make sense? Okay, if that doesn't, wait till you see the examples, and that might actually makes more sense. Okay, number 2. Factor the polynomial side of the equation. Factor the polynomial side of the equation. Okay, that's that factoring it out. And again, I'm going to show you some examples on that. Step 3, set each factor. Now here's what's weird. That contains a variable. What's a variable again, guys? It's a letter. Okay? Again, some of your parents are watching this, so you may know what a variable is, but they don't, so now they know. Set each factor that contains a variable equal to 0. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Step 4, you're going to solve. And step 5, you're going to check. Now, who are we kidding? None of y'all are going to check. I'm going to show you how to do this, but none of y'all are going to check and you know it. It's, to be honest, I always show my students how to check it, but I don't have anyone really need it. I'm just saying. So, in fact, I'm going to show you. Okay. Because y'all just want to get to the good stuff, right? So watch this example. 8x squared minus 16x equals 0. Step 1. Is this in this format? Yes, it is. First of all, it's equal to 0. Okay? And notice there's no c here. There's no, not a c per se, but there's no number all by itself. You have this ax squared, which in this case the a is 8. Do y'all see why I said the a is a number? So ax squared, and then 16x, the b is the 16. Okay, so parents, if you're watching, do you see how the a and b and c, and kids too, those are your numbers? Kids already know this. Okay, so anyway, here it is. It's missing that one number by itself. That's cool. It's okay. But it's all in descending order. See, x squared and x equal to 0. That is what's important. This right here more than anything. But it needs to be in descending order. In order. Trust me. Okay, so step 2 says factor the polynomial side of the equation. Factor. Y'all are probably saying, what the heck? I don't even remember what that means. Okay? Remember, I have to refresh my memory too. I can't just recall it. That's why I hate 6 weeks exams. Because it's like, man, I know it for the chapter, and then after that chapter's done, I'm done, right? Okay, I get you. What do each of these terms have in common? What can we pull out? Okay, we're thinking back to chapter 10. What do they have in common? Watch. They both have 8 in common, right? So I'm going to take out 8. This has an x squared and this has an x. They also have an x in common. So we're left with, out of this term, we pulled out 8x. That's the most we can pull out. We're left with x minus 16 divided by 8 is 2, and the x's cancel. Equals 0. Now again, this is back from chapter 10. Remember, when we had to find what they had in common and take the biggest thing of each out, we were able to, they both terms had 8x in common. So we took the 8x out of that and left the x. We couldn't take 2 x's out of here, that's why we only took 1x. And then negative 16 divided by 8. Negative 16x divided by 8 is negative 2. Okay, now, step 3. Set each factor that contains a variable, a letter, equal to 0. Here is a factor, and here is a factor. Watch what I do. After I factored those out, I do 8x equals 0. See? Set each factor that contains a variable, this does, equal to 0, equal to 0. Here's a factor. Does it contain a variable? Yes, it does. Minus 2 equals 0. All right, so if you need to, back up and look. Here's my equation. It's already set in standard form. I factored out an 8x out of the whole thing. This is a term and this is a term. They're like groups. This is a group and that's a group. That has a variable, that has a variable. I set this equal to 0 and this equal to 0. Now we isolate the variable. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And I'm left with x equals 0 over 8, but what does that mean? That's just 0. And then here, we have to add 2 on both sides. Remember, we do the opposite. And I get x equals 2. And then you're done. So basically, x equals 0 and 2. So if you look back over that, that's not bad. This is what we're doing today. That's it. You take the equation, make sure it's in the right order, factor out your factors, have them all equal to 0, isolate the variable, and there you go. You're done. Let's do another example. And if you're sitting there going, huh? Okay, that's just the first example. Okay, so let's say I have 2x squared plus 8x minus 42 equals 0. Is that in standard form? Step 1. Yes, it is. It's equal to 0. Look, here's your ax squared plus bx plus c. Negative 42 is your c. I think everyone's figured out. Anyway, okay, y'all got that. So now we need to factor out first what they all have in common. Do they all have a letter in common? No, because this negative 42 is missing a letter, so we can't take out an x because they don't, all 3 terms have an x in common. But they do have a 2 in common. 2 can go in 2, 2 can go in 8, and 2 can go in negative 4. So let's take the 2 out. I'm left with x squared here. 8x divided by 2 is 4x. Minus 42 divided by 2 is 21. Equals 0. Now I'm not done yet. Okay? Because this is like a trinomial. We have to break that up even more. Watch what I'm doing. I hope this time you are taking notes or something, because that's going to be very helpful. When you're doing your homework, you can look back on this and try to, mimic it when you're doing it. All right, we're back to here. Remember FOIL? Okay, so we got to find, I'm going to write it over here. What 2 numbers, when multiplied, give me negative 21, but when added, give me 4? So let's talk about that. What 2 numbers, when multiplied, give me negative 21? Again, remember FOIL. So I can do negative 7 times 3 equals negative 21. But if I add those, I get negative 4. Right? Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. So that won't work. How about, so that's close. It gives us a 4, but it gives us a negative. So let's switch that. Negative 3 times 7 equals negative 21. When added together, 7 plus negative 3 gives us 4. So we're going to use that. So negative 3 plus 7. Now remember, this is that FOIL. X times x gives me x squared. Negative 3 times 7 gives me negative 21. This right here, that's negative 3x. And x times 7 is 7x. So if I combine those, negative 3x and 7x, I get 4x. Okay, y'all remember that? Again, that's chapter 10. If you need a refresher course, go look at it, okay? All right, so now I have 3 factors. I have 2, I have x minus 3, and x plus 7. So we're going to set them to 0, but set each factor that contains a variable equal to 0. Does that 2 contain a variable? No. So if you're left with something that has no variable, see right here when we took something out, it had a variable. Therefore, it worked. This one, this 2 does not have a variable. So it is just that. And you're basically done with it. Okay? You can't do anything with it. Now this is x minus 3 equals 0. And then this is going to be x plus 7 equals 0. So I took this term and have it equal to 0, and that term and have it equal to 0. Okay? Because they both have variables. Intruder alert, I'm going to add 3 to both sides. X equals 3. And I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. X equals negative 7. So your answer is, in this case, we would say the solution set is, and you just put your answer in brackets. Negative 7, comma 3. That's the appropriate way of writing it. Your smallest number comes first. I don't care. Just give me the answer. Some of you are probably just going to do this and call it good. You know what? I don't care. It doesn't have to be fancy. Yes, I should probably spend a whole lot of time explaining why it's called a solution set. But let's be realistic. None of y'all really care. You just want to understand how to do this and go on. This is the appropriate way to write it. Next year, all of you are going to have a totally different teacher. So your new teacher may tell you to write like that. You better do it. Smallest number goes first, or just write like that. I don't care. Okay, let's do another example. 3x squared equals 147. Okay, now is this in the standard form? Because this is not equal to 0. So we need to move it over. This would be like the C. In your standard form, it would be your C. So we got to move it over like intruder alert. So I'm subtracting 147 on both sides. And I get 3x squared minus 147 equals 0. Okay, now here's the thing. Notice that our bx is missing. All right. Just so you know, it doesn't matter. Like, seriously, it doesn't matter. There's nothing fancy you have to do because it's missing. It's just missing. It's no big deal. Okay, so, but I know that's something y'all would ask. So I'm just letting you know that the x, the regular x is missing, and it's okay. Okay, so let's factor out what we can. There's 2 terms here. There's an x, a variable here, and there's none there, so we can't take a variable out. Can we take a 3 out? Yes, you can. So I'm going to take a 3 out, and I'm left with x squared here, and 3 goes into this 49 times. Okay? Y'all get that? All right, so now I have to, is this factored out? No, it's not. See, that's why I said when you're doing your homework, make sure you took notes this time, or when I'm done, like, I don't know, take a picture, I don't know, but have these with you when you're doing your homework so that it'll refresh your memory. All right, so this one, this is a perfect square, guys. X squared and 49, 7 times 7. But because of that negative there, it's going to be x plus 7 and x minus 7. Again, if you did FOIL, again, chapter 10, you would see that. All right, so now we have 3 terms. Is there a variable here? No. So that's that 3 does not equal 0 thing. But here, I have x plus 7 equals 0, and here I have x minus 7 equals 0. Intruder alert. Both sides. X equals -7. Intruder alert. Both sides. I hope y'all have explained to your parents what intruder alert is. Okay, parents, that's a 7-year-old intruder. Okay, anyway. So now we have x equals -7, x is positive 7. Your teacher is not going to care if that's what you give me and you're good to go, because that tells me you know what you're talking about. But if it was official, I would say the solution set is, now watch this, that's the same number, right? 7, 7 are the same. One's negative, one's positive. You would write it like this. That's your answer. Plus minus 7. Dr. Gap, I'll just tell y'all, Dr. Gap, she likes this. You know, I don't think she's that picky either, though. But she likes this because that's what it is. But it's the same thing as this. It doesn't mean anything different. So you could write either way. Some of the kids think that's fancy and they want to do it. Cool. Some are like, nah, I'm good with this. So there you go. All right. Let's start on examples. I mean, really, guys, that's all we're doing. You're factoring out the stuff. You know, you don't like that, I know. But then you just set it to 0 and call it good. I like that. All right, number 1. Okay, make sure your books are open. All right, here we go. X minus 2. Oh, and the directions just say solve. Times x plus 4 equals 0. Okay, so you don't even have to worry about it being in the correct format. They've already pretty much put it in there for you. They've already factored it out and everything. So, Owen, what do I do with each of these things? Set each one to 0. Okay, intruder alert. So I get x equals 2. Intruder alert. And the solution set is those weird bracket things. Oh, no, they don't have it done like that. That's interesting. I don't understand why they do that. You don't even have to do the bracket things. In fact, if you just want to tell me this is the answer, I'm okay with that. They have it written like this. Sometimes they put it in brackets, sometimes they don't. That's why I'm like, you know what, just give me that. I'm fine with that. I don't know what IXL would ask you to do. I'll have to get on there and play with that. Okay, number 3. 2z times z plus 7. Again, it's already factored out for you. Hey, Holly, what would I do right now? How many terms or factors do I have there? And what do I do with them? Oh, and help your mom out if she has trouble. Okay, there's 2. And what do I do with those 2 factors, Holly? Okay, I have them equal to 0. So 2z equals 0. And it's equal to 0 because why? is there's a variable right there. And then this one is z plus 7 equals 0. Okay, guys, so now we do intruder alert. I'm dividing both sides by 2 because we're multiplying. So then z equals 0. I'm moving the 7 over by doing the opposite. If it's plus 7, we do minus 7, so they cancel out. So I have z equals negative 7. Okay, again, I don't care if you just give me this. I really don't. Or if you want to tell me z equals negative 7 and 0. Cool. Or if you want to be fancy and tell me this. Just make sure you understand how to do these. I think y'all are catching on pretty good. Ooh, let's do a challenging one. Viviana. Yeah, Viviana. Y squared plus 6y plus 9. Alexis is going, why didn't she call on me? You know I'm right. Okay. Is this, Viviana, is this set in standard form? Yes, it is. There's your A, your B, and your C. Everything's in descending order. Cool. So now we have to factor it out. Do any of these terms have anything in common? No, because not all three have a y. This doesn't even have a number, blah, blah, blah. So then we're going to just do the two parentheses. So we have y here, y here. This is the one y'all don't like. But it's really not bad because this one's easy. Because you have to, these two numbers have to, when multiplied, give you this, but when added, give you this. It's 3. And you're adding. See, that's simple, right? Okay, Xavier, how many factors do I have here? That's right, I have 2. 1, 2. So Xavier, what do I do with those? Wrong. You're not, that's not correct, Xavier. I'm just kidding. You're going to set them to 0. Okay, so intruder alert. Xavier knows I'm kidding. On both sides. -3, y equals -3. Okay, they're both -3. So you can either, and again, I'm not going to count off all about Excel, but I'm not. You can give me both. You can even say solution set is -3. Either way, I'm not counting off. You do what you feel comfortable doing. Y'all do anyway. Okay, let's move on to the next one. X squared minus 9 equals 0. Deja, is this set in standard form? No? Yes? Yes, it is. It's equal to 0. And it's okay if that middle one's missing. It's okay. So this is set. So Deja, I'm going to have 2 parentheses here. And what goes here? Because this is a perfect square. It's kind of like that other example. Where is it? This one right here that I did. Whoops. This one right here that I did. See, perfect square. And it has the minus sign right there. Very similar. So Deja, what do I put here and here? X. And Deja, what do I put here and here? 3. This can be a negative and that's a positive. Because then they cancel out that middle thing. Well, if you did the form. Okay, let's see. Christian. How many factors do I have here? 2. Here's 1 and here's 1. And what do I do with those, Christian? Have them set to 0. Okay, now I do my intruder alert. And I have x equals 3. Now I have to subtract 3 on both sides. I'm sorry I'm going so fast. But I talk so much in the game. Oh, okay. So Christian, I'm going to ask you. We could say this is it and call it good, and I'd give you a good grade and everything. But the other way is a solution set. If I have a 3 for both, but one's a positive and one's a negative, how do I write that? Plus minus 3. Good job. Okay. Let's see, I got 2 more problems to do, and I've got 2 more left. No, I have 3 more. Did I do Tanya? Have I done Tanya? No, I don't think I've done Tanya. 3 girls left. Okay, if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. Okay, so anyway, 15. X squared minus x equals 0. Tanya, is that in correct format? Standard form? Yes, it is. Here we have our equals and 0. Okay, we don't have that C, that number by itself. That's okay. That's okay. But we need to take something else. So, Tanya, we need to factor this. What does this term and this term have in common that we can take out of there? She's right. It's x. I know y'all heard her. So, x squared divided by x is just x minus, and we don't just say 0, because x divided by x is 1. Just like that. Okay? All right. So, Haley, how many terms do I have here? Or factors? 1 and 2. Okay, Haley, that's a variable. So can I put that equal to 0? Yes. If it's a variable, you can put it to 0. All right, this is already done. We're going to do intruder alert here. And I'm left with x equals 1. So you could just say this is it. Or that's an interesting box. Or you can do the little squigglies and do that. Okay? Okay. Oh, look, Owen. Ghostbusters. Okay. Alexis, I saved the best for last just for you. She's clapping. I can hear it. Okay, c squared equals 7c. Okay, is that in standard form? No, that is not equal to 0. So we're going to have to move this sucker over so that it's equal to 0. So we're going to subtract it on both sides. And I have c2, or squared, minus 7c equals 0. Okay, again, we're missing that number that's by itself, but as of like up here, it's okay. So what do they have in common? All together now, they have C in common. C is the only thing you can take out because there's no number here. So then I'm left with C minus 7 equals 0. How many terms do I have here? Viviana, you in the back. How many terms or factors do I have here? 2. Xavier, is that a variable that can be set to 0? Yep. C equals 0. And then this one is C minus 7 equals 0. Intruder alert. So I have C equals 0 and C equals 7. Right? Yep. Okay, so you can either stop right there or you can do solution set. And it looks like this. Okay? All right. So with that said, it is time for your homework. Page. Yes, page 487. And you're going to do numbers, what did I go? 60, 24. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Zachary, what are you doing? Okay, how about 10 problems? 2 through 20. Even. 10 problems. I think you got it, okay? That's going to be due Friday. I am going to be assigning some IXL. I don't know when it's going to be. It's going to be a week from now. So don't even worry about it. It's going to be a week from now, about a week or so. So I'll be getting that to you. You have a quiz, though, scheduled tentatively on Wednesday of next week. Okay? All right, guys. Take care. See you later.